here on your Saturday, and it is Saturday, December 6th. It is. So we're on a 12625. So I hope you guys are doing well out there. I just wanted to drop in for a second here. I'm thinking I may come back later. It's just been this week has been a little bit loaded, like front loaded, and I think a part of next week will be just as front loaded. So I just wanted to drop in just for a second. Hope you guys are doing well out there. I know that the weather is, I don't know, for certain parts of the country. I don't know if this is the southeast or what regions are getting quite a bit of rain. Um, we've been like, I don't even know if the words unseasonably warm is even appropriate anymore. Especially, I talked about that before about how we have these cultural motives that kind of keep coming and going. They keep coming and going, and we're always going to have that. Hope you guys are doing well out there. So I know yesterday I was also, and the day before I kind of spoke about the two pieces that I was on about earlier this week were related to SNAP benefits in Democrat-run states, as well as I talked about the 1 in 4 unemployed Americans are degree holders of some sort. So if I get a chance to come back in today, I'll try to come in with that. I would also like to look at what's going on with AI. Yeah, there's a ton going on with AI. And I think that's the impetus for a lot of lawmaking, a lot of decisions that are, a lot of global decisions are being made in that regard. So, yeah, just hope you guys are doing well out there on your Saturday. So if I get to come back, I certainly will. We might get to some of those points. So again, I'm trying to give you guys. It's been 2 minutes and 23 seconds. So I'm trying to give you a couple of seconds to come on in. I know it's Saturday. It's 9:12 on the CST, and it's 10:12 on the EST right about now. And if you're joining us from the West Coast, then you're joining us from a 7:12 a.m. So I appreciate it. I appreciate everybody, for coming in, dropping in, hitting in, peeking in, whatever it is that you're doing. But I just ask, if you stick around longer than 10 seconds, you might want to just go ahead and love on the like button. That helps, goes a long way. So yeah, I mean, I know we talked about, I kind of touched on a couple of points about the things that have been, in the cycle, speaking to the points that have been made in the past, the debates and the discussions, the debate about whether people with degrees are able to find jobs and all. To me, that discussion is not new. It's not a new discussion. I just think it's probably amplified, and it's probably just more of a, I guess it's probably to be more of an amplification through social media and through media outlets, because it's been around for some time, and this was even pre COVID. So that's kind of what I've been on about. If you guys get a chance to come back in later today, that'll be great. Like I said, I know it's a Saturday, but I will come back. And I'm just thinking, I'm really wanting to dig around and see what's out there in AI right now, because I know what you have, like a CES shows. Didn't do a whole lot with that, but I know that NVIDIA was, I guess, kind of had a big impact on that particular showcase. I think earlier this year. But I think we're on the heels of Davos. We're on the brink of Davos. Um, let's see. Yeah, the NVIDIA robot. I guess they were the keynote speakers. I guess. Marcy, how are you? How are you, Marcy T? Thank you so much for coming in, Marcy T. So I'm just kind of chatty, doing just a little bit, just kind of recapping on some of the things I talked about earlier this week with what was the report that came out of Zero Hedge. About 1 in 4 Americans are 1 in 4 unemployed Americans with degrees are, you know, that have degrees, which it's not gonna get any better. It's been like that for a while. The more degree mills, what did they actually think was gonna happen? The bigger that business got, the bigger the college business grew, or the more it expanded, the more saturated certain fields were gonna become. Whether you're doing underwater basket weaving or whatever, the more colleges that present these, actual degrees, the more people they were going to get them to come in. I mean, am I going to say it's predatory lending? Well, maybe it is, considering the literacy status in the country, and you had a literacy problem long before then. So it all works out. It all contributes, because if you're not a contract reader, if you don't read the fine print, you know what they say, not knowing, what do they say? Is that 1/10 of the law, or what they used to say? Uh, Good morning. Marcy T says, in order to be happy with nothing, you have to be dumbed down. Right on, Marcy T. You're right on. Chris Reed 3227. Welcome in. Says, go to college, get a degree, and AI takes what you worked hard for. So Chris Reed 3227 says, so do you go to college to be a plumber or to be an electrician? I guess Chris Reed 3227. That's a $60,000 question. That's a $62,000 question. I'm thinking that those decisions are going to be made for us very shortly. There's going to be certain things. Yeah, you're going to have to out hack the AI before. I don't know. I don't agree with this whole concept of Schwab's fourth industrial revolution. No, I don't. But that's the World Economic Forum. Not to mention, I think Davos is nearby. That's on the World Economic Forum's calendar. Coming up very shortly is the actual their actual meeting. Okay, where these social planners, this little small percentage of wealthy men men and women get around the table and talk about how useless we are compared to them. So but just by the way, Schwab is now is now a predecessor of this. What's his name? Sergey Brin is this guy's name. I'm not sure if he's Swedish or what his background is, but his name is kind of a doozy to me, because I'm not I'm not trying to do it. I'm not trying to pronounce it phonetically, but it's just a lot going on there. Marcy says, my son is an electrician and he went to college. She says, we don't do anything, they say, from this point forward. This is my opinion. There you go. She says, I'm not doing anything the World Economic Forum says. They kick me out of here all they want. Well, I'm definitely not, they're going to get resistance. But then, there's the turning point, though. When they get the resistance from the people, that is the turning point. So, but I appreciate you guys for tagging in for a second. I appreciate you guys for loving on the like button. And I do believe that my reach ability, I don't want to say reachability, is being thwarted by the AI gods. I said, Black Spring, what are you talking about? Well, we're talking about economics, right? We're talking about the job market. Well, you got to get past AI just to get to a human being now. So it's kind of like a blockage. It's a barrier. It's an individual barrier that's going to be controlling, I think, a lot of our lives. It's probably already controlling more of our lives than we even know. Okay, they're not going to tell us how much control. They won't. They're just not going to. So it's all a part of it's all in the plan. It really is. So I hope you guys are doing well out there, and I'm thinking I may come back. I'm sure, but I've got a pile of things that are going on right now. So I'm gonna probably come back later today just to give me a, you know, done with the week and you know, here we go, back at it again, back at the circle again. It's like a season, everything seasons and cycles, you know. There's all kinds of vulnerabilities out there. Even and and this is I'm going off on a complete tangent right now. But I will tell you, I finally figured it out. I finally figured out why there are certain pieces of music, certain tunes that I cannot listen to. And it's because of the vulnerability that's in, you know, the tonality itself. It's just there's too much vulnerability there. I'm happy that I can verbalize it because it only took me a lifetime to verbalize why in the world can I not deal with this tune, or I can't even deal with I can't even deal with the harmonic pieces of this situation. Get me out of here. So yeah, it's nice to be able to figure that out, to you know, figure out what in the world was going on there. But like I said, I may be back later on today, and maybe we'll talk about the economy a little bit. I think you got a lot of, you know, some people, well, you got these gloomer and doomers on, you know, social media. Well, are they really gloomers and doomers? You got one hand that people are telling you that, you know, they're pissing on your leg and telling you that it's raining. The other hand, people are telling me, look, people, you don't even have real figures to deal with. So you trust that? You're going with that? Okay, you got to make up your mind. You got to decide what you're gonna, you know, or maybe not look to any of it. Maybe look to God and say, hey, you know, show me the way, because this is is a pain is to me it's the greatest deception going on. We don't even know what we're looking at half the time. I'm gonna be honest. I'm on a tangent right now. So I'm saying even the social media. I think a lot of videos. I think people are creating content using AI right now, and so somebody I don't even know if is AI creating its own channel. Is AI creating its own engagement? Because there's a lot of things I'm like that's not possible. You know, if you see a jungle cat in the middle of somebody's bedroom, you don't know whether that really happened or if it's, dare I say, Sora, or you don't know. So I'm just saying, you know, just hope you guys are doing well out there. And so like I guess just beware of the deception that you see. um I've even heard that there are YouTubers out there that have two channels, and one of the channels is pretty much running itself. And I mean, and maybe that's possible. I don't know. I'm just saying that we have to. We don't. I don't think we have to twist ourselves into a pretzel anymore. To I don't think that's necessary. We don't need to twist ourselves into a pretzel to realize that it's more than possible. In fact, it's more than probable that these things are happening. Not only can they happening, that they are happening. Some of the content that we're looking at, you know, maybe it's eye opening or you know, jaw dropping, but you know, I'm just, how did this even get into my how did this get into my actual news feed? But with that said, guys, I'm gonna get out of here, and I'm probably gonna come back later. Okay, probably probably gonna come back later. So let me thank you so much, Marcy T, for coming in. Thank you guys for loving on the like button. Chris Reed 3227. Not sure if you're new to the channel, but thank you so much for coming in, and thank you so much, Marcy, for sharing your wisdom and sharing your life experience with us, because that's exactly what, you know, we need to talk to real people is what we need to do. All right. All right, guys. Well, I will check in with you later. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to, in 50 seconds, drop your links if you would like to. Drop your links if you would like to. If you, or share, subscribe. You know, if you really want to throw caution to the wind, I always tell you guys, you know, share the stream. And, you know, we'll see what happens. But I'm thinking I will come back. There's been a lot. There's just so much in this cycle on all the loops. The loops are having loops, and I'm just, you know, it's like, where am I going to pick? It's like double dutch. You're going to jump in. Where am I going to jump in on one of these loops? But I will certainly be back, and you guys hang on until then. All right, guys. Bye for now.